I'm on the move in 6 of the greatest cities of the world, and I'm on the trail of their top movers and shakers. They're not all cut from the same cloth.
In our globalized world, don't make the mistake of thinking everywhere's now the same. Each great city marches to its own tune. My background's diplomacy, cultivating networks.
As an ambassador, my job's to get to know some of the most powerful people in the world and find out what really makes them tick.
Crime, glamour, power, and influence. It'll all be there.
In these 6 cities, I'll grapple with the dark, Machiavellian heart of politics. I'll witness up close the lives of the immensely rich. And I'll get into the minds of those who really rule the roost. This is a journey to uncover the networks of power.
When I joined the Foreign Office, my first posting was here, to Moscow, home to the Kremlin, from where the Soviet Politburo once controlled half of Europe.
28 years later, and I'm back in town. I'm riding in from the airport in a venerable Soviet limo called the Chaika. In the old days, they used to dish it out to high party officials. But who's in charge today? That's what I'm here to find out.
I'll be staying at the famous Ukraina, which was once the world's tallest hotel, built in the 50s at the behest of the infamous Joseph Stalin. I remember it as a cockroach-ridden monstrosity that said pretty much everything about communist rule. But today, it looks as though those Soviet bugs are long gone.
Wow, what a change. What an extraordinary place.
All that's left of the hotel's communist past are a couple of statues and the magnificent mural in the main hall, a celebration of the simple life of the Soviet proletariat. The rest of the hotel is an Aladdin's cave filled with a Russian oligarch's favorite things.
When I was a young diplomat, I used to live just down the road from here. And every day when I went to work, I'd pass this building, a Joseph Stalin skyscraper, an icon of Soviet communist power. Today, well, it's part of a luxury Western hotel chain. What would the old dictator think?
Like the Ukraina, Moscow seems to be a city transformed. The streets are filled with trendy young people and some of the most beautiful women I have ever seen. And what better way to begin my stay here than meeting a beautiful woman?
Masha, hello. Добрый день. Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте, nice to meet you.
Masha Segal is one of the city's most celebrated fashion designers. Her clothes are a big hit among Moscow's new high society, with more billionaires than any other city in the world.
You could wear that in the evening, or...
Yeah, you can wear with this in the evening, go into the dinner party. Yeah. Russian girls very much into dressing up, if you probably noticed
I've
this.
noticed this. When I was here before, in the old days of the old Soviet Union, there weren't ladies like that at all. They were hidden somewhere.
Probably they are making them somewhere and using them as their weapon.
You think secret Russian weapon? I would like to be conquered by that secret weapon.
Yeah.
Back in the USSR, the only smart, educated women I met were KGB agents who were under strict orders to seduce me.
Tell me how Moscow has changed.
Oh, it's like 2 different worlds. You can party 24 hours, you have the best restaurants. It became kind of really fashionable to be a fashion designer, if I can say this.
Yeah, so you were fashionable just by being a fashion designer.
Yeah.
And were you a celebrity? Are you a celebrity?
I'm a celebrity.
You are a celebrity?
Yes.
So that's very good. Well, I just like your honesty and will say, oh, no, I'm not a celebrity. No, 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 no.
Yeah, but I'm not British to say this.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely
I'm a Russian
right.
girl. That's why I'm pretty straightforward.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
Charmed by Masha, I set off on my quest to find Moscow's networks of power. First stop, Red Square, the most famous symbol of power in all of Russia. In communist times, Red Square hosted huge parades, missiles and tanks. But I could detect just a few changes.
Nowhere is the clash between ancient and modern in Moscow more vividly drawn than here in the iconic Red Square. Over there, the walls of the ancient Kremlin fortress. Down there, the Lenin Mausoleum, where, if it takes your fancy, you can go and pay your respects to the embalmed remains of the founder of the Communist Revolution. And over here, Lord help us, an ice rink.
The rink, in all its end-of-the-pier tackiness, would have given the old Politburo a fit of the vapors. But it has brought something Red Square always lacked: fun. It's the brainchild of the man who runs GUM, which stands for Main Universal Shop. Millionaire businessman Mikhail Kuznerovich. Kuznerovich is Moscow's king of retail, controlling the Russian franchises of some of the West's biggest brands.
This is unbelievably different.
He wanted to treat me to one of GUM's specialities.
И мне тоже тогда давайте, да.
Very good.
It's original. И довольно часто я приходил сюда.
As a child?
Yeah, as a child.
As a child,
Just
yeah.
to buy ice cream.
When Kuznerovich started out, his biggest customers were a handful of wealthy Russians who had got rich after the collapse of communism. Vast chunks of the country's state industries were sold off, frequently in murky deals. This put most of Russia's wealth in the hands of a select few, the so-called oligarchs.
In 91, the crash of our country.
Yeah.
Not anymore Soviet Union, totally different. Our entrepreneur idea was to give something what we miss during the Soviet time.
Yeah.
First of all, I feel that we are miss free choice. You take your vanilla,
Yep.
I'm chocolate.
Yeah.
You know, it is freedom.
Kuznerovich made the most of Moscow's new freedom to shop, setting up his own clothing label. Moscow now sponsors Russia's Olympic team.
Do you sometimes wake up in the night and think, my goodness me, what have I done?
Sometimes it's happened by night when I close my office, go out. I'm alone, all this building. Not bad.
Not bad, exactly. Not bad.
Like the mega-rich the world over, many oligarchs have retreated to gated communities, far from the prying eyes of ordinary Muscovites. One of these communities is Rubliovka, a 40-minute drive from Red Square on the outskirts of the city. The local shopping mall is yet another temple to designer labels and fast cars. Back when I lived here, it was a one-horse town with a village store and a petrol pump. Outside a local restaurant, I met up with Dmitry Afanasyev, who runs one of Russia's leading law firms and has represented a number of Moscow's oligarchs. He's the very model of modern Russian man, has offices around the world and studied in the US. Dmitry returned home in 1999 to what people referred to as the Wild East.
Within about 12 to 24 months, I had 2 of my friends killed in contract killings. And I said, this is going to be quite an interesting challenge to do what I would like to do, which is uphold justice, and at the same time be successful commercially and make a difference.
Moscow can be a dangerous place to do business, and a decade ago, few left home without their bodyguards.
At that time, there were two types of law firms in Russia. The first type was basically a bunch of solo practitioners who called themselves Russian lawyers, and they would say, give me 100,000, I'll give it to the judge. And most of the time, keep it to themselves. And when the Russian clients found out, occasionally they shut them. Malpractice insurance, Russian style. So we said, hey, there's a great business opportunity. For starters, if you don't steal money from clients, you're a market leader. Second, if you actually know how Russia works, you can describe it in decent English. You're way ahead of the competition.
Moscow is a magnet